All right, we're still talking about the software. So let's take a brief look at them one after the other as much as possible, because from here we are going to start the practical session that we're, for the benefit of this group, I will do quite some things later so that you will be able to understand what to do when you go into the lab for your practical sessions. Okay, so here is the word processing software. Remember, this one falls under business. Remember, we are picking from this table, business and productivity software. So your word processor is one major business productivity software. It is used to create, edit, and format textual documents. And there are formatting features like font and font size, color, borders, clip art, margins, word wrap, scrolling. Now, the font and font size. Font simply refers to handwriting style. You know, if you write with your pen and I write, the handwriting will be different. When two people write, the handwriting are never the same. Three people will write, the handwritings are never the same. So that's font. So there are different fonts that the word processor uses. And then also the font size. In the same way, some people write in big handwriting, people write large, so that when you see their writing, even the people that use glass can read what they have written with ease. While some people write, you know, tiny, in a very tiny form, that when you want to read, you have to look critically before you can be able to read off what they've written. So then the same way, the font of the word processor also has sizes. You have big size, big font, or small font size. Then the font also, this has color. Okay, I didn't explain, what do we mean by formatting? Formatting means to change the appearance, of something, of the font, that's what you have typed. So if it was small, you can change the size to a big size. If you have used one different handwriting style, you can choose a different handwriting style. So that's under font and font size. And then also you can change the color. You can change the color of the font. The basic color is black upon a white background, just like what you are seeing here. But by the time you don't want the black, you can change to any color, blue, red. There are many colors, you know, varying colors, that a color palette. Word processor has a color palette where you can choose the color of choice for your fonts. Okay, you can also create border. You can place a border around, you know, a border is a frame. So you can frame or place a border around your text or around a page of document. You can also use clip art. Now, what is clip art? Clip art are pre-designed graphical images or objects that you can use to represent one thing. Maybe you want to talk about airways, flights, aeroplane and all that, air transport. Now, if you want to talk about air transport and you want something catchy, something that will catch your audience attention quickly, you can go to clip art and look for, under transport, pick an image of an aeroplane, you know, aeroplane, pick it and then drop it on your document. And if once anybody sees that on the document, without being told, they will know that this document has something to do about air travel. Then you can also change margins. Margins are when you pick a paper. Okay, let me use this. Now, this is, if you can see the paper here, this is the best way I can explain this because I'm not on Microsoft Word right now. Except if I will go and open up a Microsoft Word document, which I can equally do right now. If I can stop sharing this and then go and open a Microsoft document and show you some of these things. But I know that we are going to do I'm going to do some practicals later, just to help you, even though most of you are not in my practical lab group. But if I explain it very well, when you go to your lab group or the lab to do the practical, you will understand better. Now, I will use this for now. This is a page. This is a page of printed work. Now, this paper, you can see that up here is blank. That's the top here. This is the top margin is blank. Nothing is here. You can't type anything inside this top margin, this empty space. Nobody can type anything there. Okay. Now, this right-hand side of the paper, the right edge of the paper is also blank. There is no how these things that are typed can enter here except the margin is changed. There's also no how anything can go beyond this line, this first line of text, except this margin is reduced. So if this margin, this space is reduced, then text can come up more. If this right side margin is reduced, text can move this way. The same goes with the left margin. The same goes with the bottom margin. So there, on any page of document, there are 4 margins. You have the top margin, the bottom margin, the right margin, and the left margin. Now, what we are saying here by formatting is that the margin can be reduced. You know, the amount of space you have to type can be increased or reduced by either increasing or reducing your margins. So the margin is the offset, is the page offset on your either at the top, bottom, left, or right hand side of a page. The offset, that's the space that is left that no text can be typed on. That is the margin. So if you increase the margin, you are saying you want to reduce the amount of space that your computer can type on. If you increase the margin, so if you increase, assuming you increase this top margin now, that means maybe you, instead of, let's say 2.5, you increase it to 4. That means this text can start from here. So like where my hand is up to the edge of this paper will actually be blank. That's the implication. So you increase your margin, you reduce the space for typing. If you reduce the margin, you increase the space for typing. Okay. Now the next one is word wrap. Word wrap here is a feature, a formatting feature with Microsoft Word, whereby you type, when you type a text on a line of a page of your document, as you type to the end of the line, normally, if you are young people, I know that a lot of you may not have seen a typewriter, but in the days of typewriter, when you type on a typewriter and you get to the end of the line, you'd have to hit the return key. There is a return. You have to hit return. It's not a key. It's actually a lever, like a lever, you know, that you have to hold it and press it down. So when you press it down, then your cursor will move to the next line and you type again. Now, Microsoft Word has removed all of that problem. So you don't need to hit any lever, you know, anything to move your cursor down to the next line. All you need to do, just keep typing. As you type and you get to the end of the line, automatically the cursor will move, we come down to the next line, and you type again to the end of the line, it goes to the next line. That's word wrap. It will keep wrapping the word. So if it gets to, if as for example, the word that is at the end of the line is too long to fit into that space at the end, the space before the margin, that's your right margin on the page, the Microsoft word wrap will simply carry that entire word and bring it down to the next line. That's word wrap. And then you have scrolling. You can scroll. Scrolling is to move. You can move up and down a page. Then next we have editing features. Edit means to, remember I said formatting means to change the appearance or the look of text or of the document. Editing means to make changes that has to do with the content, the text itself, not necessarily the way they look. Format is the way the text things look, the way your document look. Excuse me, the way the document look, okay, the way it appears. But editing has more to do with the content itself. So changing the content. So you can find editing features include the find or search feature. You are on page 10, but there is a word you have used, and you've used that word, but you don't know the page on which that word is. You can use a find feature. Just click click on find, and it will bring out the find dialog box, and then you type the word and click search, and then or find, and it will find it, or search, depending on the word that is used in the program, and it will take your cursor straight to where the word is. But if the word is not there, it will tell you, sorry, it can't find the search or find cannot find that word. The next one is replace. Now, assuming you found the word, you don't want to go twice. You can do the two at the same time. You want to find the word, replace it with another word. Okay, assuming you have typed substitute, and now you want to replace it with the word substitution. Yeah. So what do? You just click the find feature, then you type find what? You type substitute. Replace with what? You now type substitution. So anywhere it finds the word substitute, it will replace it with substitution. That's the way it works. So it's like doing two things at the same time. Two things in one process, kind of. Now, the next one is spell checker. The spell checker enables you to spell check, to proofread. You know, if you are writing a book, after writing, a good writer, a good author, you should not think you are perfect. Nobody is. We all make mistakes. So when you have written or typed, you should take your document for proofreading. Proofreading is someone will read through and check for spelling errors and other errors. So spell checker is one of those things that Microsoft Word allows you to do, to spell, to check your spelling errors, where you made mistakes. Now, there are some other things that go into this spell checker, but I won't explain it right now, since we'll still, God willing, we'll still have some practical sessions to do. Now, other features you have in Microsoft Word are headers, footers, templates, wizards. Now, what is a header? What is a footer? A header is simply some text you type that appears inside the top margin of a page, or of a document, while a footer is text that is allowed to appear in the bottom margin of the pages of a document. Now, I'm carefully saying pages of the document, because once you apply or you activate a header or a footer, it will appear on every page of the document. If your document is 100 pages and you apply a header on page 1, that header information will replicate in all of the 100 pages. The same with footer. Okay, so that's how it goes. The other one is template. A template is a pre-designed format that the Microsoft Word offers you to make your work easy. For example, you want to type a letter, there may be, and there are templates of letter writing styles. So if you look for a template, you just pick the one that suits the kind of letter you want to write and you use it. And then the next one is wizard. Wizards are software that are written, embedded in Microsoft Word to help you get some things done. There are tasks you can do on Microsoft Word that you've never done them before, and a wizard can just be there handy to assist you to get it done. It doesn't do it all by itself, but a wizard is there to assist you. You don't know your way around, so the wizard just shows you, takes you one step at a time. Step 1, and then this is what you do, and you do what needs to be done in step 1, and then you move to step 2 like that. Okay, so that's a wizard. All right, so this is a Microsoft Office layout. I will have to increase this. The Microsoft Office layout. Sorry for a moment. I will stop sharing. I want to be sure. Okay. Return to my share. Okay. The Microsoft Office layout. Here. Beautiful. Okay. You can see up here is the ribbon. Now, before we get to the ribbon, let's start from the topmost. At the top here, top is a bar called the title bar. Why is it called the title bar? Because it's at this bar that you find the title of your documents. Whatever document you are working on must have a name. So the document name here is document 1 of Microsoft Word. So the document name and the name of the software, the application package, is Microsoft Word. Oh, no. And then to the right-hand side, you have the 3 buttons the buttons I tried explaining earlier. You have the close button. It is designated as X, close button. Next to it is the minimize, maximize button. And then next to it here is the minimize button. And then on the left-hand side of the title bar, you have some icons. These icons form what we call the quick access toolbar. Quick access. They are simply icons that show you the functions or activities you perform a lot. So they now are dropped on this quick access toolbars. The name applies, quick access. So that instead of you, because there are things you do often, instead of you to always go to the menu, you just quickly click here, access it quickly here, and they get done. For example, save. This one is a save button. You know, you are working on Microsoft Word, you are advised to save your work at intervals. So, and you are going to be needing this save button a lot. So it's placed here for you to quickly access it. And then next, on the leftmost end of this title bar is your office button. The office button is the button you click that will bring out the menu for you to use and navigate, getting whatever you need to do on Microsoft Word. Okay, now next to The title bar, next to the title bar is the ribbon. This is the ribbon. You can see the ribbon. This is the name, ribbon. So from here down to here is the ribbon. The ribbon gives you a group of commands. A group. Commands are grouped. Commands are grouped. You have the clipboard command group. Next here you have this is for formatting, okay? You have the fonts, font command group. Next here you have paragraph command group. And next here you have styles command group. And then finally you have editing command group. Then below the ribbon, you have the ruler. You have the ruler. The ruler helps you to set your tabs. You get to know what tabs are. The ruler also helps you when you want to draw. If you want to draw to precision, this ruler can assist you so that when you draw, looking at the ruler, you know where you have drawn. Maybe you have precise measurement, and the ruler also can assist you. So this is the this is the horizontal ruler. There are two rulers. This is the horizontal ruler, and then you have on this side, the vertical line, you have the vertical ruler. Okay. Now, below the ruler is the typing or the work area. This is your typing window, the document window, the work area where you type, where you now type the document. Okay, so let's take a look at it. One here you have the insertion point. The insertion point is once you click or once you launch your Microsoft Office, you always will see the insertion point blinking here. So once you click, you start your typing from where the insertion point is, from the insertion point. All right. And then you have here the scroll bar. You have the scroll bar. There are two scroll bars. You have the vertical scroll bar. This one here from up down. This is the vertical scroll bar. And then usually there is a horizontal scroll bar. You can see the arrow showing. It's usually here, somewhere here. Sorry, the image is not showing that very well, but this is where the horizontal scroll bar is. You can pull it to left or right. The vertical scroll bar, you can pull it up or down. Now, the vertical scroll bar helps to move from up or down the document, while the horizontal scroll bar helps you to move left to right off your page. Okay, up or down, up or down. This one goes left to right of a page. Next, you have, I didn't talk about dialog box launcher. The dialog box launcher is actually a feature that every of the command groups on the ribbon has. If you look at the clipboard here, there's an arrow pointing up, a small arrow pointing down. That's the dialog box launcher. When you click it, it will launch for you the dialog box to show you all the commands that belong to the clipboard. When you come to fonts, the dialog box launcher here also will open up a dialog box to show you all the commands, all the things you can do that to affect the font sizes, font color, and so on. And then here, this is paragraph. You also have the dialog box launcher. So when you open your Microsoft Word, you see all of this. Lastly, you have on the window, you have the status bar. The status bar is this one. Like, if I should ask you the opposite, what is the opposite of the title bar? Yes, suppose somebody should ask you that. Now, understanding this window, we simply let you know that more like, although they are no opposites, but playing with words. Opposite of the title bar is the status bar, because at the top is you have the title bar, at the bottom, I'm playing with words, is the status bar. Now, what do you have on the status bar? The status bar tells you the page you are in the document. It also tells you the number of words you have typed. In this particular image, the number of words is 0, and we are on page 1 of 1. There's only one page yet, okay? And no words have been typed, so it's a blank document. And then on the right-hand side of that status bar, it shows you the different views, you can, Microsoft Word can give you. So there are different views. We will not exhaust them here, but you have the print view, the layout view, and so on. They are all here. And then on the rightmost end of the status bar, you have the zoom slider. The zoom slider here is where you can use to increase the window, the window to make it bigger or smaller. So if you come here, you can slide to the left, to the right, or you can also type. There is a place you can either type to increase the view. You don't want a small, you want to see very clearly, you can do that. All right. Now, these are features other features you have in Microsoft Word. You have autocorrect. Autocorrect means as you type along, Microsoft Word will be giving you, correcting your spelling errors, and also when it knows when there is a full stop, the next thing that should start a word is an uppercase character, uppercase letter. That's a capital letter. So autocorrect will do that to capitalize that beginning of the word that begins a sentence. Then it has auto format. This one too, as you type, auto format feature will automatically apply formatting to your text. So if you set set your work, your document to auto format, it will be doing it for you. There are places where it will convert something. Okay, like for example, you type a web address, it will automatically underline it and turn it into a blue color, which shows that it is a link, a hyperlink that somebody can click to take the person to the web. Okay, now another feature is columns. You can have columns, like you have columns, newspaper. When you pick up a newspaper, you see columns, newspapers are usually written in columns. So you can also columnize your documents using Microsoft Word. You can check your grammar. You can use the grammar checker to proofread and fix your grammar, your writing style, and sentence structure errors in a document. Mail merge is another beautiful one. You can use this one to create document en masse. Like you want to type a letter to invite your friends to your graduation ceremony. Now, your friends are up to 50. Are you going to type 50 letters or 50 invitation letters? You don't have to do that. But if you use a mail merge, you just type one letter and then you link the letter to the addresses, the names and addresses of those your 50 friends, and you merge the two. And Microsoft Word will produce your 50 letters as if you typed them. All right. It also allows you to create tables. Tables are a way of organizing information into rows and columns. So it helps you, it gives you a beautiful organization. Like what you have here, what you are seeing is actually a table. This is a 2-column table. This is column 1, column 2. And then how many rows? You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 rows, 2 columns, 12 rows. So it's a beautiful organization. Now, assuming we were typing this information now on just as a lines of text, it will look this beautiful and compact. It will not. So tables allow you to compact information in a very neat way and in evenly spaced table, rows and columns, everything well done, beautiful. And then you have templates. I've explained what templates are. You have the thesaurus. Thesaurus is actually a lookup, like a dictionary, you know, where you can look up a synonym. A synonym is a word with the same meaning. You know, and the English word, you can have one word and then have different similar words that have the same meaning with that word. So that if you don't want to use one word, you can use it in a different way and it will still give the same meaning. So you can check the synonyms. So that is found in the thesaurus. Then you have tracking changes or comments. For a large document, you can track changes, you can track documents. This also, we got to do that, particularly let me give an example. You are working on your project and your supervisor tells you, send your project to me, to my email box. And then you send the project and the supervisor reads the project and makes correction. Now, how will you know the correction the supervisor has made? Now, for you to be able to get to know this, the changes or comments the supervisor has made, you have to switch on this track changes feature must be switched on. So as the supervisor makes the changes and then sends it back to you, when you get it, you or your own track change feature will be on, and you'll be able to go through the document and see the various changes your supervisor has made and then accept those changes. Usually, if it is student supervisor, you're actually supposed to accept the changes. But where you have a reason not to accept the change, then you have to get back to your supervisor and explain why you used whatever you used that the supervisor is saying change. So when you explain, you know, to convince your supervisor that why you had to use that and the supervisor agrees with you, then you reject that change. So you can either accept the change or you reject, okay? And the same goes with comments. Then we also have voice recognition. Now this one with some word processing packages, you don't find this in all word processing packages, but some do have. You can speak into the computer's microphone and watch the spoken words. You watch the words display on your screen as you talk. So as you talk, the word, what you are saying will be displaying on the screen. With this package, you can also speak commands such as editing and formatting. And then as you speak commands, the document will be formatted without you lifting a finger. You see how far the computer has taken us. That's beautiful. Then we have web page development. Now, here most word processing software supports internet connectivity. So it allows you to create, edit, and format documents for the World Wide Web. And you automatically can convert an existing word processing document into the standard document format for the World Wide Web. Now, when you are using a web page development, a web feature in Word, it has its own peculiar features. So that's what we mean. If you already have a document, and you want to use it on the web, when you select it to use on the web, those features, those formats will now be inserted in that document. Next, we have spreadsheet software. Wow. Spreadsheet software allows you to organize data in rows and columns, collectively called a worksheet or spreadsheet. Yes, a worksheet has up to 256 columns and 65,000 536 rows. As I speak to you, this has actually changed. We have more than 65,536 rows right now as I speak. But as at the time that this slide was prepared, this was correct. But right now, that has changed because a lot of upgrade has gone into the spreadsheet software. Now there is a cell intersection. There is okay. Now let me explain this. I'm not just without reading what you have here. Your duty is to read, students, but I've been spoon feeding you guys a lot. Now a spreadsheet, as the first point says, organizes data in rows and columns. And these rows and columns are what is called the worksheet. So a spreadsheet is a software that contains worksheets. Now, a worksheet is like a page, a page of documents, okay? In each worksheet, the worksheet is made up of rows and columns, okay? A worksheet is made up of rows and columns. And that point simply has told you you have up to 256 columns and up to, we are saying up to, but I just told you right now there are more than 65,536 536 rows. Then another point I want you to grab is that a worksheet, in the data you store, data stored in a worksheet are stored inside cells. A worksheet is made up of cells. Now, don't get confused. A worksheet is made up of rows and columns, okay? But now, how do you enter data? Can you imagine rows and columns? You have rows. Rows are, a row is two vertical lines, two vertically spaced, did I say vertical? Sorry, two horizontally spaced lines. If you put your finger, your two finger, your index finger and your thumb, if you can raise it like this. So the space that you have there in between the index finger and your thumb, you know, placed horizontally is like a row. That's a row. You know, if you are to draw it on a sheet of paper, that's a row. The space between those two horizontal lines is a row. Okay. Now, what is a column? A column is the space between two vertical lines. So if you place your two fingers, maybe your index finger and the middle finger, if you place it standing up like that, up standing, the space between them can signify a column. So if you should draw like that, draw one line, give a space, draw another line, the space between those two lines, if you draw them vertically from up down, the space between those two lines is a column. So now where a column and a row meet forms a cell. A cell is the intersection of a row and a column. And it is inside cell that data is entered. Okay. Now the data that is entered are labels or values. You can either enter a label or you enter a value. A label is something you cannot use for calculation. Okay, I forgot to tell you. The main purpose of spreadsheet software is for calculation. You see, it's not just to organize your data. It also helps you to run calculations. Now, a label, you cannot perform calculation on a label, but you can perform calculation on values. So now that takes us to calculation. For you to perform calculation using a spreadsheet software, you have to use a formula and a function. Okay, what is a formula? A formula performs calculations on data in the worksheet and displays the result in a cell. A formula is a combination of operator and operand. You have an operator, you have an operand. Okay, let's say you have A plus B. A plus B. The A and the B in this formula is they are operands. You have two operands, then the plus sign is the operator. So you have A plus B equal to whatever it gives you. That's a formula. Okay, so if you do A plus B, remember your data is in cell. If there is a cell, a value in cell A, and there's a value in cell B, and you now type a formula A plus B, the spreadsheet will simply pick the content of cell A and add it to the content of cell B, and then give you a result, which will be stored maybe in cell C. So if you type a formula A plus B equal to C, it's a perfect formula. It has two operands, okay, which is the A and the B, being your cell addresses. Okay, now you can also use a function. A function is a predefined formula that performs commonplace calculations. Now you also have the spreadsheet allows you to plot charts. A chart is a graphical illustration of a relationship of numeric data or any other thing you want to plot the chart for. That's a chart. Now, one or two things I still want to drop before we leave the issue of spreadsheet. I've talked about, okay, I didn't mention that the fact that every cell has an address. Remember I said data is stored in cells. Data in spreadsheets is typed in cells, is typed into cells, and every cell has an address. And I just mentioned A plus B, and I said cell A and then cell B. That A is the could stand for your address. But now in spreadsheet, your address, remember the cell is an intersection. A cell is made up of the meeting point. A cell is the meeting point of a row and a column. Therefore, the complete address of a cell must be the alphabet, the number of the row, and the alphabet of the column. Now, that brings me again to somewhere. Rows are designated, or spreadsheet rows are identified by numbers, while the columns on the spreadsheet are identified by alphabets, A, B, C, D, and also Z and beyond. Okay, so if you want to know the cell address, the address of a cell, you have to take the number of the row and the alphabet of the column that forms that cell, and that becomes your cell address. So if you have a cell A1 plus B1, you know, A1 plus B1. So you are saying the content, whatever is in cell A1 and whatever is in cell B1, add it together to give a result. So thank you. Now let's move on from there quickly. What of database software? A database is a collection of data organized in a manner that allows access, retrieval, and use of that data. That's the basic reason for database is for what we just said. It allows you to organize data in a beautiful manner so that you can easily access that data, retrieve the data, and then use that data anyhow you want it. So database, we talk about queries and all of that, but we will see a little bit of that if time permits us. Now, for database software, we must talk about database organization. How is data organized? For data to be organized in a wonderful manner, good enough for you to easily access the data, retrieve your data, use the data, then we must talk about database organization. Now, in talking about database organization, we have to talk about the file A database file, we have to talk about record, we have to talk about fields. So a data is organized in database in form of files, a file, and inside a file, you have records. And inside a record, you have fields. Look at the progression. You have a file. A file is made up of records. And a record, one record is made up of fields. I'll give you an example. I've given this example before, but I will give you this example again, just to refresh your memory. Now, I want to create a database of students. I gave this example before, but I'm using it again to help you understand what this point I'm making here. I want to type, I have a database of my students that are offering DCS126. That's information and communications technology as a course. So I don't just want your name. I want quite a number of information about you, about each of you as students. So I create my file. But before I create the file, I give it a name, save the file, give it a name, sure. So that now creating that file, what have I done by creating the file, giving it a name and saving it? I have created space to organize the data, the information, the data about my students. Okay. Now I pick each student. Every student has a name, your own name. That's your first name that your parents gave you. That's your first name. So I pick student first name. Then the next thing, every student has a surname. So I now pick student surname. Okay. I pick student, the age of my student. I have age or date of birth. Okay, no, better to use date of birth. I pick your date of birth. Okay. I pick your gender, sex. Are you a male or female? I add that. I possibly pick which country are you from? Are you a Nigerian or non-Nigeria? I pick that. And then I also pick your address. Your address. If you are a Nigerian, which state are you from? Okay, I pick that. Then that state, your state where you are from, which local government? I pick that. Okay, now, okay, assuming that's enough. Okay, no, I add your telephone number. These days of GSM. So I pick your telephone number, I add it. Now, every of these that I have, for each student that I have this information is a record. Every student data I take, complete like that. I have your name, your surname, that's your first name, your surname. I have your date of birth. I have your country of origin. I have your state of origin. I have your local government. I have your telephone number. Okay, if that's all I need, that makes one record for student one. That's record one. Now I go to the second student, I get the same kind of information about the second student. That's record two. Now, if all of you are up to 100, that means in that file, I have 100 records. 100 records. Okay, now remember the progression. A database file, but the database is organized in files. Now, a database file is organized in records or consists of records. Now, the last thing is that a record is made up of fields. And all that I have been saying, if you people listen well, you would have picked the fields. Now, I have how many fields? I have a field called first name. I have a field per each student. Per student, I have first name field, surname field. I have date of birth field. I have country field. I have state field. I have local government field. I have telephone. Then I also have gender. I forgot that. I have gender field. That's about 8. So I have 8 fields. Each record of each of these 100 students that I'm having in my file has 8 fields. Each record has 8 fields, and it will run like that for every record. So you see, there is no, this one has, okay, this one, oh no, me, I don't have telephone. Instead, use my GSM, sorry, use my Gmail, my email address. There will be nothing like that. Whatever applies to record 1 must apply to record 2. That's how beautiful organization is done in database for this software to run smoothly the way it's designed to do. Now, developing a database. To develop a database, let's see what we need to know. 1, determine data that you want to keep track of. I've given you a typical example. 2, define the fields. 3, enter the data. 4, use the database to produce information. Okay. Now, after you have done this, use your student record, student database that I just talked about as an example. Now, I determined the first thing is that this database is about students, student records, okay? Now, what are the fields? I have just enumerated about 8 fields, which is common to every student. Now, the next thing is begin to enter the data for each student. And of course, the data will be different, okay? Your name is different from some of the other person's name. Even where you have common names, there'll be something that will differentiate you people. Your telephone number will differentiate you. Yes, even if you're having the same name, the same country, the same gender, the same state of origin, the same local government, telephone number will differentiate you. Something will differentiate you. Either the date of birth may differentiate you, but we still have people who share date of birth. So if date of birth does not differentiate you, your telephone number will differentiate you. And that's what we call the index or primary key. Don't worry, let me not go too far so that I don't confuse you. No, so we quickly look at presentation graphics software. These are graphics that allows you to create documents called presentations, which are used to communicate ideas, messages, and other pieces of information to a group, just like I am doing, students, just like I am doing. Just like I am doing. What I'm doing right now, I'm using a presentation software, and it has predefined formats where you can define colors and other elements for background, text, and other items. You have various slide layouts. You have clip art. You can use clip art and image gallery. You have the slide sorter, quite a number of things. You can see if you look at this one here. Let me share. Let me zoom it again. Okay, I just want to move down a little. One example of a presentation graphic is PowerPoint, which is what I have used, the PowerPoint software, okay? This is what I'm using for the slides I am using for this lecture. PowerPoint, a presentation graphic. Now, you can produce projects such as overheads for a team briefing, slides for a business meeting, or interactive on-screen presentations on your company's product. Like now, I am using this. And if just that I am making a video which I'm recording to put up, upload online. But if you are all online with me, like the last class we had, it was interactive. When you did not understand, you could ask questions. When you were not hearing me, you could say, oh, I'm not hearing you, and all of that. So interactive. So you have animated presentations shown on a monitor, like this one is being shown on a monitor, or you can also be on an overhead screen. Overhead screen are the type that you can project on a wall, overhead. In that one you can also use overhead projector transparencies. paper printout. You can print out the slide. You can also make notes for the speaker. You can make handouts for your audience, and then you have 35mm slides. All right, I'm checking what is here because I don't want to belabor this. So I want to stop here. This is slide 105. Students, so that we don't have too much at a time, I give you a little at a time, but remember, the next class is going to be interactive, God willing, as usual. Sorry, I want to stop sharing. Oh. Okay. So students, thank you. As usual, this is being recorded. So it will be uploaded for you after I'll make sure it was well recorded. Once I ascertain that everything is all right, I would upload it for you. And then remember, there's an assignment. So I will expect you, once you watch this video, I'll expect you to do the assignment and submit. I have received the last class I gave assignment. Your class rep has submitted quite a number. So those of you that are asking, how do I submit my assignment? I had said you can type your assignments and then submit it to your class rep. Ask him to make his email address available to every one of you. So submit to him. He will collate them and then submit to me. So do that. Let nobody say I can't do it. Yes, I know I've not yet taught you emailing and all of that. So if you know you can't do it, but you can at least have access to maybe a place where you can type, get it typed, and business center, and then you do the necessary. Students, you're supposed to do that which is necessary for your learning. So for today, I'm going to end the class. I'm going to end here. See you next week. Today is Thursday. Happy Easter to all of you. I wish you a good time and that God bless you as you enjoy your break. We'll meet next week. Thank you. Bye. Bye-bye.